fam? Welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts as well as the NASDAQ and Bitcoin a little bit. So with that being said, let's get it. Excuse me. All right. So the first thing I want to go over on the NASDAQ is the fact that we had another diamond pattern. Gee, imagine that. This is on a smaller time frame. It's on the 15-minute time frame. Again, these are extremely rare patterns, but at the bottom of the move, it's bullish. At the top, it is bearish. So if this truly is like the actual bottom of this correction that we've been having, then that would be pretty interesting because it's like literally almost exactly at the bottom of the move. We get a diamond pattern on the smaller time frame. Now, I do think it's possible that this may actually be the end of the correction entirely, and here's the reason why I say that, okay? Because if it was not, if we were not about to reverse to the upside, we would not have broken structure right here, okay? You can see this would have been the swing low. This would have been where the bears were holding it down. They were not able to do so, and it appears that we have reversed back to the upside. So I want to show you guys what that would look like, okay? If we were unable to break structures. So you got another level here. You can see it was tested, came drop back down. Bulls tried to push it back up. They got rejected at that structure, shot back down. Once again, I can do the exact same thing right here. So this level, okay, actually, I need to move this down just a little bit. So you can see this was resistance here. We broke out, came back, did not even retest it. We just shot straight back down. Never got back above it. Maybe like a little wick here we tried to test and then got shot back down. And you guys can see like it should theoretically, if this was going to play out exactly like this, it should play out almost to a T every single time the exact same way, okay? Basically what we're looking for here, if the trend was to continue down, is for the bears to stop the price action immediately at the previous support level and shoot it down to a lower low. In this case, we did not see that, okay? So I did just want to point that out on the NASDAQ and also the 4-hourly time frame. You can see we've been oversold quite a bit on the 4-hour. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. We've had, 4 oversold signals pretty much here on all of these swing lows. It's kind of, like I said, it's a bit ridiculous. So, but of course, the true test will be getting above the EMAs on the 4-hourly time frame with a golden cross. That would be the indication right there that we're moving back to the upside. But by the time that happens, if this truly is the bottom, when people get in on the golden cross, if that's what they want to do, the bottom would have already taken place and you might have missed half of the move back up. That is the risk to reward ratio that you get with doing assumption trades versus doing confirmation trades. Another interesting thing here is this hammer candle. Now, I don't like the fact that it is, let's get rid of this crap real quick. I don't know why this is even here. So yeah, the fact that this is a hammer candle at all, especially at the bottom of a move, tells me that's extremely bullish. I would have liked to see it close all the way up at the bottom of this candle here, but we didn't get that. But still, and be a green candle too. That would have been nice, but nevertheless, still not bad, right? And we're almost getting oversold on the daily time frame too. That is a big deal. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. So here's what I told you guys before, okay? I don't know if you guys remember that I told you this, but I told you that we may see something similar to back here. What did I tell you guys happened right around this time, basically last year in 2023, okay? We had an overcut, an undercut, and then we took off to the upside, okay? Let me remove this tool so I can show you what I mean. Okay, I'm going to draw this one more time. So we had an overcut and then an undercut, which is this wick here and this wick here. And then we took off to the upside in massively, as a matter of fact, at the end of January, going all the way through basically March at this point. So I'm going to show you guys one more time that appears to be what may be going on here with Bitcoin as well. Very similar story, very similar time frame. Okay, right around the same time, almost exactly a year ago, November, December-ish, going into January, right? We're seeing a very kind of similar setup here. We had to move into this big peak with an overcut And now it appears we're getting the undercut. And then what should come next if history repeats? Boom, take off to the upside. That's kind of what I'm expecting here, okay? The overcut would be this wick above these candles. The undercut would be the wick below this structure level here, and then obviously push back up, and then the move would be breaking 108,000 with a candle close. So very similar stuff. Now, in terms of the stocks above the S&P 500 on the 50-day, the reason why we're taking such a heavy look at this one is simply put because you guys can see on the day, I mean, we ended even lower than we've been previously. Only 16% of these stocks above the S&P 500 on the 50-day moving average are actually above their 50-day SMA, okay? We have only gotten down here a very, very small amount of times. It doesn't mean we can't go lower. Do I think we're going to go lower? Probably not. I mean, one pretty strong indication is the fact that the markets were still down significantly today, and they recovered most of the downside before the end of the trading session. That's extremely bullish, in my opinion, because if they were going to go down lower, we probably would not have gotten some green or even most of the red erased by the end of the session. So I just did want to point that out. And for those of you guys that are like super bearish and like, oh, it's never going anywhere, the sky's falling, everything's going to zero. I mean, guys, trust me, I get the feeling. Even lately, I've been kind of thinking the same thing. Like, okay, is this ever going to end? But like I told you guys before, when everybody's the most fearful, that is typically the time to be greedy, right? Warren Buffett's old saying, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. In this case, there's kind of some real extreme fear going on. I just read the stock fear and greed index indicator today, as a matter of fact, and we're almost tipping into that 24 and under extreme fear territory on stocks. So usually that's when the contrarian move takes place. If you're sitting in cash on the side, in my opinion, not financial advice, but if you were sitting heavy in cash on the side, this may be the opportunity that you're looking for. Okay. It's the times when people think everything is never going to stop going to the moon. It just keeps going up forever, that maybe it's time to take profit. And it's the time when everybody thinks everything is going to zero and everything is just going wrong and the sky is falling apart and it's the end of days and all that kind of crap, right? That's usually when it's a good time to buy. So yeah, anyways, LTCN, same thing as before, 12.30 to about 17, I'd say about 18, roughly about $18. So maybe somewhere between 12 to 18 on this one. 27 to 54. I mean, if you already got your bags loaded at the price you want, then you're not worried about it. You're just waiting for the rip. 110% gain to 330% here. BCHG, amazingly, actually still. We're below the line, but we're pretty much still at the line. So anywhere between 530 on this one, going up to about $7 for potential buy area. Inverse head and shoulder pattern target up here at about 14. I'd say targets anywhere between 1250 going up to 24 at this point for about 360% gain. HZEN. So we are below the structure level, but we are not confirmed on the week yet, which I think this is going to reverse. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I think that the bottom is probably in this week, and we're going to start seeing some upside here soon. The PPI comes out tomorrow, and then we get the CPI the following day, which is kind of strange because I'm pretty sure we usually get the CPI first and then the PPI. So maybe that's politically charged things going on at work there. I'm not sure. I did also notice that it stated that CPI was expected to come in lower than expectations. Now all of a sudden they think it's going to come in flat. So not sure what's really going on there. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, anyways, so 430 to 490 here for the potential buy zone. Targets going from about A16 up to 10 or A15 up to 1050 here for potentially as much as 150-ish%. ETCG. Okay, so it appears maybe there's some buyers trying to buy this wick area here. So anywhere from 950 going to, I'd say, probably the blue EMA up here at 12 with targets ranging from 16 to 20 on this one. Do keep in mind this is the quarter that Ethereum is supposed to outshine Bitcoin, so we'll see how that plays out. 115% here. ETH, nice little wick bounce off of the EMA there. That's always nice. So Support here at 23.30 to 28.30 with targets ranging from about 36 to 52. 130% in GBET. So anywhere in between the bottom or top of this zone and the bottom of this zone right here. So I would say about 520 going up to 770, somewhere in there. Again, if you already got your bags loaded, you don't care about this. You're just simply sitting back and waiting for the gravy train to come along, right? So 32 for the all-time highs for potentially as much as a 6x gain, 535%. Okay, FILG, still kind of bobbing around those EMAs. Maybe at this point, anywhere from 44 going up to 65. Again, we don't have confirmation below the EMAs right now. I don't think we're going to get it, but we'll just wait and see. 400 for the target. In this case, worst case scenario, 580%. Best case scenario, roughly about 750%. Okay, GLIV. So we do have another inverse head and shoulders. Again, I know this is not textbook, but not every head and shoulders is going to be textbook. Sometimes they're going to look kind of weird. But the target for this would be 31 in this case. Support down here at 1150 to 15-ish. With the target going up to 80. Of course, if you have your price down here at 12 and you think 31 is a good profit target, a nice 3x gain, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to fault you for that. So 575% gain here. G-Link, I would still say anywhere around the EMA, so 75 to 95, somewhere in there, with a target of 220 for about 180% gain. GSOL, even though the market has been incredibly bearish lately, I mean, even I'm shocked at how just disgustingly gross these sell-offs are. I mean, it's just absolutely heinous. I have to give credit where it's due. GSOL is holding up very nicely. Again, I do still think it's going to hold around this $20 area. I'd kind of put the buy targets for 16 to 24 here. Because again, it's possible maybe there's a wick down if for whatever reason, maybe, well, I'm not going to say anything specific, but if for whatever reason there is a wick down here and then it pops back up, which is common, that does happen a lot in markets, then that would give you kind of that wiggle room there to potentially pick it up at 16. Okay, so targets here 80 to 115 for potentially as high as a 690% gain. GXLM, so anywhere from 36 to 40. Again, it's sitting at 40. You guys can do what you want to with that. 58 going up to 70 here for the targets. Obviously, it could go much higher. If you're more of a hodler and you're not really so much just trying to get a quick buck and you're looking for like a 5-10x gain, then you may have to be willing to wait the next 3, 6, 12 months. So just some food for thought there. 91% gain. I mean, if you got your capital tied up in these trusts, then, it may be costing you the opportunity cost to put your money somewhere else, but just understand we're in the same boat. So, I mean, that's the trade-off. You put your money into crypto, then you got to sit back and wait as a hodler for like 6 to 12 months if you choose to. You're giving up the opportunity to make money elsewhere in the markets unless you have additional capital. And the inverse is also true, right? If you are like, say, swing trading all your money in stocks or something like that, while the crypto bull run's going on, well, you're going to miss out on the crypto bull run. It's just the way it is. So mana here, buy zones anywhere between these white lines. So roughly about 10 to 20 bucks with a target at the all-time highs at 70. So about a 3.5 to 7x. Pretty solid return if you ask me. 550% gain. And Zcash, last but not least, I would say anywhere from 510 going to roughly about 630-ish on this one with targets from 8 to 10.25. Of course, like I said before, if you guys don't want to sell for a 2x gain, you want to sell for a 10x gain, then I would totally understand. So 101% gain. So yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm looking at the contrarian move right now. Everybody's bearish. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to go to zero. Everything's just falling apart, blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a couple of things at play here. It's just some food for thought. Okay. If the Fed does cut rates slower, that's actually better for the markets, truthfully, long term, because then it drags out the bull market longer. Okay. because you guys got to remember the markets are like a slingshot, right? When you pull the rubber band too far in one direction, it's going to go up extremely or down, up or down extremely fast, but then it's going to rebound just as quickly in the opposite direction. Okay. But I'll just give you guys a tool. Like if you see something like this, right, then you're probably going to see something like this. And that would be in the case of the Fed, cutting rates extremely fast. And I think Trump probably wants the rates to get cut fast. But in the event that they cut slower, we probably might see something more like this, right? Maybe a little bit more like this, kind of slow and steady, stair-stepping our way up, kind of more like the 2017, 2016 bull run. It just drags out the bull run a little bit longer. And again, I'm looking at the contrarian view at this point. I mean, there's a lot of bearishness. Everybody's come out on X and all kinds of places and like, oh god, everything's going to zero. I told you so. And then the bears are trying to short the absolute bottom of the market. I'm seeing it personally when trading futures. We'll be sitting at the bottom and they'll be still trying to short the bottom, even when the indicators say it's oversold, even when it's been selling off for hours on end. It's pretty effing ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. So that tells me there is a very strong likelihood we're probably going to see some serious green in the days and weeks to come. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.